Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Shedtime. What is Shedtime, you ask? Well, it's code for the consumption of cannabis, but it's much more than that. Shedtime's a state of mind. It's art, it's music, it's cryptocurrency, technology, it's food, it's vaping. It can be whatever you want it to be, as long as you're not letting the bastards get you down, not being a dick, and making it fun. When you're in the shed, it's whatever your mind allows you to create. So now let's get to the Shedtime podcast.
Welcome back, Shedheads, and boy, am I excited for this. This is the conclusion of our interview with my man Mike, aka Huue Man Mike of the Huue Cannabis Puck. Yeah, guys, you heard last week the kind of fun that we had, and if you didn't listen to last week's episode, hit that button, pause this jam, go over there, listen to episode 43 of season 3. Wow, we've been that far already. But yeah, go listen to part 1 of this episode, get the groundwork laid, and then you can finish off by listening to this one. And yeah, man, you guys are going to have a lot of fun. So without messing around anymore, let's get right into it. This is my man Huue Man Mike, and we're talking about Huue, dry herb vaping, and a whole lot more. Let's go.
Finding the stores that want to be a part of that kind of thing too, because there's definitely different mindsets in every single dispensary in this state about what kind of product they're presenting to their customers.
Yeah, 100%.
Some are there just to move volume, and some are there to, educate and, provide a different experience.
Yep, 100%. And that's always going to be a uphill battle for vaping, I think, in general.
Yeah,
as we've seen, like, there's so much bad press, and people have to like weed through the muck and the mire to get to the actual facts and real data. And so, like, I mean, we've seen it because the three of us come from a nicotine vaping background, and so like we understand what it's done for us and for the entire community that we've been a part of. And even to this day, we still have to, actually, if you look into these studies here, you'll see that it's actually a much safer alternative to just inhaling burning smoke.
Yep.
And so it excites me that there are products like this out there that are going to be able to encourage people to try it. And I think another really cool thing that I see a future for in Huue would be in consumption lounges.
That's we're looking forward to that. It's because
that is like a convenient way to dose an inhalable cannabis product in that setting.
On that note, I've seen a cool sorry to like just interject here, but I've seen a cool thing that like kind of goes towards that whole consumption, like like cafe or like whatever sort of thing you're talking about. Have you seen these little cup vaporizer things that are coming out?
Yeah, I've seen them. They're not really a vaporizer. I followed that guy on TikTok actually at the beginning of the pandemic when he developed it.
I just came across like a video or something on these. I was like, this looks crazy interesting.
It's like it's like those beer fillers at stadiums where you prop the beer can and it fills from the bottom. It's this very simple. So essentially that is actually combustion. So that's actually a combustion chamber. Funny enough, I believe I had a small conversation with him
because I totally thought it was like a vaporizer.
It looks like
that looks so sick.
It looks like vapor. The extraction, like he documented the whole thing on TikTok. You could probably go find it and watch all his videos on it. Like, it's a super interesting thing, and I think it's gonna really take off when consumption lounges become a more stable thing, like a nightclub kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think he'll be the first one in the door. He'll have basically probably 40 of those in every consumption lounge and a bar set up, essentially, with customers coming in with their own cup that they probably purchase, and they're going to be strain specific most likely. I think he's definitely got a hell of a game plan for the future. I think in mass consumption lounges, though, we're going to get so tightly regulated around that stuff. It's probably going to be bring your own cannabis and very tightly regulated.
Well, I know one of the big stumbling blocks right now is that we have an indoor smoking ban in the state, and so that in and of itself prevents you from that kind of a thing. But what I'm imagining here is that what's unique about Huue is that it's almost like a little shisha in a hookah lounge.
Exactly.
And so there's almost like a parallel that could be argued for a vapor lounge, a cannabis vapor lounge
I mean,
that does the same thing and can utilize a product like that.
I've had an idea for that for a while. So essentially, it's a consumption lounge, right? Except that you can only the only kind of consumption allowed in is dry herb vaping. You can rent desktop vaporizers, or I would do specific like booth setups with a specific vape. So like if you want a titanium because you want to rip dabs and you want to rip wax and flower at the same time, we got the titanium tables, we got the volcano tables for the bag parties. Different setups, different strokes for different folks. Maybe get a little cannabis tech, flower pots in there, and show people what. Have you guys ever hit a flower pot?
No.
Oh
Not
my
familiar.
god. Okay. Flower pot is by Cannabis Hardware, and essentially it's an e-rig that they modified and then redesigned, obviously created themselves, that will essentially heat up in 5 seconds, and you can rip a 2-gram dryer bowl in one shot.
What?
They are the most monstrous desktop dryer vapes available. I think they range, on the low end, you're looking probably like $500 if you got the glass. If you need the glass setup, you're probably like $750. I think on the top end, they're around $1,800 for a real high-end setup with them. But there's a lot of different options. I do not own one. I've had the pleasure to hit a few on occasion. Yeah, I would definitely put one of those in there. But my whole thing is it would be a dry herb consumption lounge, rentals on the vapes. You set up an arcade lounge area with movies and shit playing. Throw a little Magic the Gathering, Pokemon tournaments in there for the adult stoner nerds like myself, and boom, you get a probably a pretty banging spot every Friday night.
I feel like honestly, like I think
It'd be a vibe for
if
sure,
that
bro.
could ever happen, that would be the perfect thing for a lot of people. Like that would definitely fill like a void that's there right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got
like,
people
everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I love video. I've been a video game nerd for ages. I used to do Dance Dance Revolution tournaments as a kid. My booze money was earned playing Rock Band tournaments at Framingham, at the One Up Underground arcade on Route 9. Like every Friday, that's how I earned my booze money. I went there, slayed kids in Rock Band, and drank for the weekend. Like, I mean, but there's never we haven't had any arcades. Like, I don't want to go to Dave and Buster's. I want to go someplace that I can hang out with my friends, play some freaking games, smoke some weed, and not be bothered. And I have all the munchies available to me.
Dude,
I will say there would be no alcohol at this facility, though.
There wouldn't be a need for it, bro. Because like, just think, because the people that would be going there are people like myself, where I don't necessarily drink. You know what I mean? I do in social events sometimes, more so when I'm around people that drink, because a lot of the times it's kind of just, I just don't want to be the not drunk guy hanging around with a bunch of like sober guys. Not saying that I get drunk, but like I'll just catch a buzz to where I can at least tolerate it a little bit.
That's where you slip into slim carts.
Well, no,
here's
the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not saying I'm still not consuming cannabis at the same time, but like I'll have a drink or two just to, let loose a few times. But most of the time it's one or two, you know what I mean? And I don't really enjoy being drunk. But like, I'm one of those guys where I'd much rather just sit back at the homies pad, playing fucking some video games, smoking some weed, just shooting the shit. And if I could go out and do that with the homies, and we could do it on like some dope vape shit that we don't have at the house because we can't afford a fucking $700 volcano, or you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? We have some just a big group that we just want to fucking get together and go somewhere and do some shit. Yeah, I'd totally be down to go to a spot like that.
I just want it to be like a lounge / like arcade / like card store, because I'm a huge Pokemon nerd, like have been for 20 plus freaking years. Like started collecting in 95 when my dad brought me home some cards from Japan. Like huge Pokemon nerd. So like, yeah, it would be a nerd stoner's paradise. That's like my dream. Like,
man, there was actually a place that was like that up here, but it was before cannabis was legal. So I'm from Canada, and so cannabis has been legal here for like 4 years. But this place opened probably 5 years ago, and it used to be just like a place you could go, and they had like every game console, like probably from history, basically. They're like, it was crazy. And so like you go in, you get your table, and on the end of your like booth, there were just booths. And at the end of your booth was a 27-inch flat screen TV, like sunken into the wall. And there'd be like 4 people, maybe even like 3 people on each side or 2 people on each side. And you just get controllers. And you could go and you could play like Mario Kart 64. You could go and you could play like something from GameCube, like Double Dash.
That's it. Opening day, Halo 2 LAN party. That's what we're doing.
Dude, yes, that's what I'm saying. You could do that
And me
shit.
back to the garage party
Johnny
days,
Snipes,
dude.
baby.
Dude, you could fucking do like N64. Oh no, you can't do N64. Shit.
Oh,
Dude.
yes, I can.
Well,
You just
could.
have multiple
I
systems,
got
bro.
6 of them.
Oh, okay. Then you
Yeah,
could.
dude.
Then you could.
I've seen plenty of Smash Brothers tournaments, bro, where there's
Yeah.
like 7 consoles on
Yeah,
7
dude.
different TVs in one spot, fucking rocking out
See-
with like.
See,
I
now,
never let my
now-
nerddom die.
now you're giving me visions,
Dude,
right?
I've been to plenty of internet cafes back in the day, playing Counter Strike, going to card shops, playing Magic, dude. I've been to
Hey,
all those spots,
Sean,
dude.
we just
So
gotta
I
get
know
Raul
exactly
on
what
board.
you're
I think we
saying.
can
All
do
right,
it.
so hear me out. We get a tractor trailer and we outfit a tractor trailer so
Fuck
we can do
yes.
this mobile stoner game unit.
All right, Sean, we gotta
Boom.
talk, dude. We can make.
Oh, you know what?
We can
I-
make this happen.
I bet you that people would literally rent you to have parties and
Oh,
you drive there and-
1000% do
wow.
events
We're-
and stuff.
I
Sean,
really
we're
hope
making
you
this
guys do
happen.
this. I really,
We're-
I
no.
like legit hope you guys do this.
We're gonna make this happen because that's not a hard thing to set up.
Yeah.
Like that's literally the hardest thing we're gonna have for that is probably just permits, and we could set it up probably under a food truck. And as long as we're on prem and it's private, it's completely legal.
Yep.
Holy shit, we should do that, dude. I
Yep.
mean, it's not even like
I mean,
both have a
here's the
car.
thing. Old Pal already does a party bus out in California.
no one does it
And
here in Mass.
you know, there's exactly there's another one I know, the Dab Bus, and they're like a national brand, and they roll up to any a possible event they can roll up, and they're just like a charter bus basically that they converted.
We just need a trailer.
That's what I'm saying. Like
We just need a trailer. We'll cut out a window, and we'll figure something out. I mean, we'll have all kinds of consumption, right? Like, we'll figure this out. But I think that's a hell of an idea. No one's
Like,
doing that here.
It could totally be a thing for
I
sure.
totally
Get
think
this
it
written
cool.
down, boys. Get this written down.
Oh, dude,
Well,
I'm taking
sorry.
notes. I got notes, believe me.
Might have to cut this part out of the episode so no one steals the idea, bro.
Oh God, I can't even imagine how many ideas I've thrown around to people about cannabis in this industry. Going,
See-
shit, I should have probably kept that to myself.
The funny thing I've learned about things like that, right, is that I have no problem sharing ideas because I've learned that 80 to 90% of the people I share those
not
ideas
going
with
anywhere.
will never act on them.
No, I was just making the joke because we never cut anything out of these episodes.
Well, I mean, it's like the consumption lounge thing here in Mass. Like, I'd totally love to do it. And the reality is, here in Mass, consumption lounges are going to social equity applicants first, which is great because the social equity applicants in the first place, when cannabis got started here, Mass got completely hosed. So, like, they absolutely 1000% deserve and should be afforded this first opportunity into social consumption. So, I'm more than happy to just wait my turn, for down the road somewhere.
And that's the thing. It's like right now, the rules of how we're gonna make that work still aren't even in place. They're still not fully figured out.
They're a mess. I mean, the rules around everything in cannabis in Mass kind of feel like a mess. I mean, let's look something simple on the testing side of things. Keef is classified as a concentrate here in Massachusetts. It is an unextracted, unmolested part of the flower that is a byproduct of flower processing, and yet it gets classified as a concentrate because of the THC level when it's packaged up in the little grams. So it gets tested as a concentrate, which is one of the reasons you don't see Keef on your menus really that often, because 9 times out of 10, you pass that through for testing, it's gonna fail for microbials because they hold it to the same microbial standards as extracted concentrates, when in reality, it should be treated just the same as flower. So, but that comes down to a lack of knowledge and understanding on the CCC's part. Not that it's not like they're wrong in what they did. It's just they did not have the proper knowledge of how something should be classified. But that's just like one instance. But there's so many of those one instances here in Mass that really need to kind of be gone through with a fine-tooth comb and kind of corrected to make the industry better before it eats itself alive. But the kicker is, and if you work for the CCC, you can't be a cannabis consumer. And I hate to say it, but like, if you're going to work on the regulatory side of cannabis, you should kind of know what it's all about realistically, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
for sure. The more educated they are, the more
Well,
informed their decisions can be. Right?
Absolutely.
That's
Like
what you
the
want.
experience in that needs to happen. I mean, we know that there are brands out there whose, their entire ownership and directors are people from big agriculture.
Yeah.
And it's like, just because you know how to grow a field of corn doesn't mean you know how to manage growing cannabis. They're
even
different things.
Or even like the just quality, right? Like, I mean, I'm very much a quality guy over content and quality kind of person. So I very much know the cultivators that I prefer in the state. I mean, I'm always open to trying new folks. Like when I was on Pittsfield, I found this. I had never even heard of this brand.
Oh yeah, we just started running Oleo, and apparently these guys are some
Shit,
next level rosin.
This is some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah,
This
man.
is their live rosin Joker's butter, dude. This stuff smells like a bag of Skittles. Tastes like eating like unicorn farts. I mean, it's insane. It's freaking awesome. I mean, it's just so nice.
Look at that.
Looks good too.
Yeah, it's just so delicious. I mean, yeah, I am very happy to say like the Massachusetts concentrate game has really been stepping up lately.
I will say some of the stuff I've seen Sean have recently, I'm like, dude, you're starting to get a lot of stuff that's starting to look like what, because like I said before, I'm pretty spoiled and I get some really good quality stuff out here majority of the time.
Oh,
and
this
like,
is that trade routes.
Yeah, there we see. That's what I like.
Mhm.
That's what I like to see, man. That's good stuff.
I gotta say, like, yeah, I'm really happy. You know, there's a lot of good stuff. This is this is the Blue River solvent list. These guys are banging out some banger stuff.
Yeah, Blue River's another next level.
Resonate's nailing it. Like Resonate's diamonds and their diamonds and sauce is like hands down some of the best in the state. There's very little left of this because it's so tasty.
Hey, that means it's good, dude.
But this is
Blue River's
I love those
got,
jars too.
Grapes and cream. That's what this one was.
Blue River's got that snow that they do as well, which is really interesting because it's basically a solventless rosin THCA kind of a process.
So that's actually what our Huue pucks were. Our next production run is Resonate flower with their THC isolate
really too.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
This is called Wakanda.
Nice. I gotta go see that movie. I wanted to see that movie so bad.
Yeah, dude, it's coming out.
It's out.
Is it out? I thought it was November 11th.
I thought it, or was it the premiere that was this past week?
I think it was the premiere was this past weekend, but I don't think it's out till like.
I don't know. I got stuck painting I got stuck like renovating the bathroom. So
I may be wrong though. Either way, I'm with you. I want to see it, dude, for sure.
Yeah, I'm super into it. Yeah, but our next run is Resonate flower and their isolate, their THC isolate. And the reason we're swapping to isolate is one, it doesn't impart any extra flavor to the flower. So that gives us, lets the flavor get expressed a little bit better. And we don't have to worry about like the keef imparting any extra flavor. Not that it's anything bad, but sometimes a little too terpy people can get thrown off in terms of flavor. So, we want to make sure the flavor is right. And on top of it, it also lets us nail the THC level, like the TAC level overall. Because as I said, right now, the market's looking for that high tax stuff. I had someone ask me for a 60% puck. They wanted a 60% puck. So I was like, okay, so it's gonna be like 3/4 isolate and like 25% flour at that point. Right.
Well, so I mean, like right now, I know Heirloom is an example. They're pushing some boundaries. I've got a batch of
the 39%
at 37 right now.
Yeah, Gym Buddies has it up at 39 right now too. I've seen that.
Yeah, and I know I was talking to Chris over at 253 a little while back, and he was saying that they were running some new strains and genetics that they were getting tests back in the like 41%.
So like this Harbor House here, this is their dosy face. This is like 30. And like personally, I don't know. I kind of get very skeptical when I start hearing when it's flour. Like our product is flour and keef or flour and isolate. So like when I say 35%, it makes sense because there's the isolate inside of there. Right. But when I start hearing like 35% plus flour, I get a little skeptical realistically, because you're starting to actually push the physical boundary of the plant at that point. So if you're telling me that you have a flower that's 40%, so 40% of the physical mass of that flower is trichomes. That's what you're telling me at that point, because that's what it has to be.
Well, and at the end of the day, like those trichomes are more than just THC. So that's the thing. Like if those trichomes are 40% THC, then you're telling me that you've left me nothing in the way of the other 400 plus compounds.
Yeah. There's nothing else in the plant.
0.5 terps and THC.
But what's the point of that weed at that point?
I
To
agree.
me, it's like too much. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, if you're gonna
I
grow,
think you're going too far at that point.
well, and the thing is, if the strains that are being grown are truly there, like if they have managed to modify the genetics where they can truly get there, and again, I'm skeptical because there's a physicality portion of this that doesn't really line up when you start getting to those high percentages. Like the plant structure itself can't support trichomes of that size most of the time. Like cannabis leaves are very frail. The buds are fragile as they're growing, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a physical limit that plant can grow to in terms of the trichome production. So I do get skeptical, but if they truly, I mean, granted, cultivators have done some crazy stuff. I mean, look at weed from the 70s, you look at weed now, it's like the 20,000, yeah, it's like a bajillion times stronger. So the cultivators know what they're doing, the botanists know what they're doing. I mean, there's guys in labs that are breaking this stuff down to the molecular level now to really figure out the gene, the gene makeup of these plants. So if they truly have gotten it to the point where they're growing, 40% THC, stacked plants, at that point, stop selling that product as a flower product. That is when you start making that as your mass production plant to start making your isolates. You start making your extractions. That's where you take that biomass, you turn that into base material for other products, because now you just have a higher tech product that you can do way more with.
Yeah.
Don't sell it as a flower and just, put something out there just to put a number out there, and
it's weird though, because like there are people that's what they associate as the cannabis high. It's just that sharp buzz here from all that THC,
right up.
And it almost reaches a point where it's like, all right, well then let's slow down. Can we stop engineering the weed this way? Because we have cartridges at 92 and 93% that will do the exact same thing you want this flower to do.
And there's stronger ones coming. There's stronger carts coming to the state within the next month. Like, I know they're coming because they're at our production facility. So I saw when I go to check our menu on our production facility's website, and I'm like, oh, look at that. It's like, guess that's coming down the line now. You're going to start seeing, carts that are spouting 97, 98%. And it's like, I mean, you're just throwing straight like nitric oxide into people's veins at this point, and it's like, it kind of makes me like, I don't hate carts. I just don't think there's enough education around carts, because we have an entire user base that primarily uses carts and they're hooked on them. Like, I don't want to like, they're not junkies, but like realistically, like they get on these distillate carts, they like the flavorings and stuff like that. They hit it, they get their quick high, 2 or 3 hits, quick high. But then 40 minutes to an hour later, 2 or 3 hits, quick high. And next thing you know, you got a customer that's doing a cart a day, right? If you're banging a half gram cart a day, it's 60, let's say 40 to $50 a day, right? You're $250, $300 a week on that customer. I mean, that's an unsustainable habit. Right. So, but
it's an aggressive habit for sure.
But you have a lot of people that end up like that. And now Massachusetts is even starting talking about taking credit as payment forms in dispensaries. Like, not to be a fear monger, but like realistically, I see how people buy in dispensaries, and that scares the crap out of me, allowing people to buy on credit here, because that what I just described with the cart problem, you're going to see people just coming in on Sundays, give me 5 carts, one for every day of the week. They're going to drop $300, $400 a month. And it's just going to be unsustainable. But I think the cart thing is just, it's pervasive, and again, carts have their place.
I think that's where companies like Oleo is a great example. They make live rosin carts.
Yeah, but they're making a quality live rosin
and that's
cart.
what I'm saying, is that like, I think the fact that like there are companies like them who are doing that really pays now, because like something I find myself doing a lot now is explaining to people, like, listen, you can get this run-of-the-mill distillate cart, and this is like buying a Ford Focus. It gets you from point A to point B, but there's nothing special about it, and that's that. Then you can get into these live resin carts. That's like moving up into a Lexus or a Cadillac. It's got some luxury value. There's some things going on. It's a little bit nicer. You're going to get a more full, robust experience. Then you can get into something like these live rosin carts. Now you're buying the Bentley. You're buying the Ferrari, the Bugatti.
And the cured rosin carts are coming. The diamond carts are coming. Like
now you're getting into the like ultra luxury when you get into these. And again, you get that bigger step up, and it's extremely nice, and you'll see an even better high.
And that's why we're trying. That's why we developed this puppy. So this is a prototype. This is a prototype video. He's taking a hit. This is our new vaporizer, first hit. Fire. He's pressing that button to fire it off, kind of boosting it up a little bit on the temp mode. Has a base temp, and then when you press the button, it fires. This is just because he's a big freaking first hit off a puck. That crazy cloud.
Wow.
Our goal is to create something where you can pop this puck into that device, heats up in 30 seconds, fire off, get your rip just as easy as a vape cart. Because once I have that in hand, I'm not trying to take vape carts, out of the market, but our goal is to bring the dryer vape experience to the users as easy as a vape cart to help show them like, hey, you can have a full spectrum flower experience for half the price of a vape cart, and get way more out of it. Because realistically, with the amount of juice we pack into each puck, an average user, that's not us, will probably get 2 sessions per puck.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yo,
So that's dude. I told you, Sean. I told you, man, it's coming.
It's a good move though. It's a real good move because like I see it all the time where people they're curious, and that is the thing, is that like some people are still scared of the whole vape lung thing that was happening when people were getting those bunk carts on the streets. And so they're terrified of the word vaping, and it's like, when we can have ways,
let's be honest, carts co-opted that word. Like, carts are not vaping; they're combustion.
Well, I mean,
they co-opted the word. Though.
What I like to tell people is like, you got to understand that this is technology that the e-liquid market deemed, useless 15, 20 years ago. Like, this was e-liquid vaping 15 to 20 years ago, and it's been long since surpassed. And it's just kind of been picked up and slightly modified into this market. So it's crazy that that's where that part of the industry has gotten, but we can totally get there. And there's enough people who are becoming curious about dry herb vaping, and it's fun to talk about it now, because I'll tell people like, yeah, like I vape my dry herb, I vape my flower, and they go, wait a minute, that's an option.
Yeah, because they don't know. That's the thing, is they don't know. And one of the hangups is like, once they know though, it's like, okay, well, how do you get them started on this journey, right? Because realistically, right now in the market, if you want to start your dry herb vaping journey, we're talking, let's say you don't have nothing and you need kind of like a little on the go setup. So let's say grinder, vape, and some bud, or let's cut the bud out. Let's just say grinder and a vape, right? You're probably talking realistically at least $125 investment at a minimum, right? So you're talking maybe Dyna M with a lighter and a decent grinder, all in, the $125. Those things are retailing at what, $80 now? You go with the B, you're probably looking sub 100. You go with something like the G Pen Dash here, which we give away for free in our gift box. This is like $80. You can go with something like this thing. Actually, I don't know if you guys have seen this puppy yet. This is probably one of the sleeper hits on the market right now, I think. This is the VMAX V3 Pro. It's not very pretty, obviously. But
no, it's not really that pretty.
It's not pretty, but it's
not even really that compact. But
$115, you get an 18650.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So just for comparison, regular Dr. Pepper can. It's really not that.
It's like an inch taller than a
my head already though is intrigued, because of course, like, those of us who are in the vape community immediately go, well, we can get some nice 25, 30 amp 18650s in that puppy.
Yep. Now watch, what's cool about this device though is not only is this a session vape, it also does on demand. So this actually will do true on demand.
Okay, Mike, do you know of any atomizers that can go on like a separate mod that vaporize good or well?
Honey Badger made one. I think Atmos made one that was somewhat decent. I'm not really big. So unless you're going to go into like something like the Dreamwood Glow or like higher end craft 510 threaded battery vapes, there's nothing on the mass market I would truly recommend. Wax wise, I would say the Molecule 20 or 22, depending how well, you guys are big e-sig nerds anyway, so you guys are really familiar with firmware updating and everything.
Yeah.
Check out, you guys actually would really, I think you guys would dig this, especially. Check out the Molecule. It is a 510 threaded atomizer for dabs. They have ceramic, titanium, and SIC buckets as well, quartz buckets. But you can just program a profile onto like an Aegis rig, and it literally fire and forget perfect temp dabs. Like, coolest freaking device ever. Worth it.
Interesting.
Dude, you could put that on whatever mod you want, James.
Put on any DNA. Put on a DNA, bro.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I used to rock it on. I used to rock it
Yeah.
on DNA mod.
With
But
temp
yeah.
control, and then just bada bing, bada boom.
It's like this thing on demand. This thing heats up in like 10 seconds too, by the way. So it's on demand. So you just press the button and hit it. The flavor's not bad, but I paid 87 for this on sale. Normally retails for 115. But you guys shop on like Puff It Up at all?
No, but we've definitely do enough shopping for vape stuff in our time, so we definitely
My
know how to
Google
find the
Foo
deals.
is quite
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
I dare say I have a
We
black
could
belt.
find the deal and the discount code for sure.
So, and I have a puck in here. So just to give you guys an example too, like the puck doesn't even fill up this chamber, and I'm still pulling vapor off of this thing. And so like this device, I gotta say, like, beauty wise, it sucks, but performance wise, for what it costs, it's freaking great.
See, we got a new
Nice.
one in the shop I need to pick up and try. It's the ice cream by Luca. And
I mean, sorry, what?
we're we have it because we ended up picking up the Luca Seahorse Plus as a option for people for like a little electronic email,
Yeah.
It's
It's a terp sipper.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Luca fan personally. I'm not big. I know where they manufacture, and I've seen a lot of metal testing from that facility, and I'm just not really big on it. And that's one of the things with dryer vaping. Like, when you get super into it, you start looking into the manufacturing and you start looking into the testing materials. Because remember, you're heating up a lot of metal and plastic in a tiny body. You want to make sure none of that's melting or off gassing as well, and you're not inhaling any of that shit. That's actually why I'm such a big proponent of Dynavap, because there's zero way you're going to off gas any dangerous kind of metal out of a Dynavap. It's just not possible. Your torch is never going to get hot enough, right? But like something like the Puffco Proxy, I got sent one, and when I start smelling plastic off my second session, I get nervous. Like, so
I don't blame you. I don't blame you,
Yeah,
because like this is the
100%.
thing, right? Like, you are part of you. Like, there could be multiple reasons why you're vaporizing like your cannabis, but like a lot of it is because you're like, yo, this is like healthier for me to get this, like this is like not going to hurt me as much. And then next thing you know, you're like inhaling plastic fumes. Yeah, like that would definitely freak me out a little bit. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna probably put this one down for a little.
That's why, like, when people, they ask me my vape recommendations, it's usually pretty much around the same lines of stuff. It's, it's the Dynavap, anything from Stores and Biggle, anything off Airizer, and if they're willing to spend some money, there's some higher end options out there too that are definitely worth looking into. Splinter. You were asking about a 510 threaded. That's actually worth it. That's not going to break the bank. The Splinter, if you can find one. The Splinter RBT Pro. That thing is pretty epic, not gonna lie. It is a glass stem and basket style mod though, so if you're comfortable with that.
Okay.
I'm gonna just tell you this, Mike. Your knowledge is about 100, right? My knowledge on that same scale is about 9.
Yeah,
All right. So like, I know about the Dynavap and like some of these bigger things like volcanoes and I get those, but like after that, bro, like you got me beat.
Yeah, my
every day.
When I jumped into dryer vaping, it was a couple of reasons. It was one, I needed to get off pain pills. I have a bunch of nerve problems and a bad back, and I was too young to be on that many pain meds. But my wife was finally cool enough to let me go get my medical card, and because my wife's a dietitian, so the idea of inhaling anything doesn't really work out with her.
Yeah.
Now she's definitely on board, advocate and everything, because she's seen how much it's benefited me. But at the time, I went back to smoking, but I got tired of washing clothes and taking shower every time I need to medicate. It's got kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So I started looking for other options, and that put me on to my Google foo, which led me into places like Fuck Combustion and Vaporents, and just a lot of my own individual research. I even contacted manufacturers directly with questions. But yeah, I really dug down into that rabbit hole like really hard, because part of it was, to me, was like, I'm making an investment, and like this stuff costs a lot of money, right? When I bought my first Firefly 2 back in 2000 and, oh God, 12, 13, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that was even my first one. That was just like my first portable. I had one of those desktop wood style with the exposed
Yeah, the little
element
box.
glass.
Yeah. Yep.
I still love those things.
Hey, man,
I
with the
still
little
got one
whip.
kicking around back
Hey,
there
they
somewhere.
worked, bro. They
Old
did the
school,
trick.
man. It's great.
That was the
But,
first vaporizer I ever used.
They're good for the party sesh.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. But when you're going to buy, I was looking for Firefly, it's a $300 device. It's not a cheap device. And I was looking for something that was not only easy to use, easy to clean, but had a really low like smell factor around it. And then I realized like, yeah, realistically, you're always going to have some smell factor around dryer vaping. There's no true odorless experience. But, it put me in the journey. It set me down that path. And like, yeah, I dove down that super hard. I learned a ton of stuff about a ton of different vapes. I really nerded out and geeked out on it. And now that I'm in a position to help share that knowledge with people, it's kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis, because there's just a lot out there that people don't know about. But the other flip side of that is, I don't want to tell people, oh, go Google dryer vaping and figure out what's going to work for you, because they're going to end up on those forums. And what happens when you end up on those forums and you go, hey guys, I was at a dispensary today and I saw a G Pen or a Luca or, a Wolf brand vaporizer. What do you guys think? Is that good? The first thing they're going to do is jump down your throat, tell you you're a fucking idiot, and then go tell them whatever, vape of the day they're fanboying on to buy. Right. Which is usually some high-end obscure thing someone's building in Norway at the moment.
No, we totally get that, because like our whole basis is like what brought us together initially was like creating vape content and like doing like I do reviews on vape products and stuff like that. And most of the time, like I'm one of the guys where I tend to steer more towards the less expensive thing that gives me the best overall experience, because I don't want to have to break the bank every time I want to get something.
And that's where most users are going to go.
Exactly. So it's like that, and that's where I started. You know what I mean? I started as a consumer, and then eventually I was like, hey, well, I got to push to create content, and that's how it started. And so it's like that we come from that sort of background. So seeing you coming from that sort of same aspect, but from the cannabis side, like I totally get your vibe. And like, because we all did that, we all dove and did our own research and found our way and figured out what worked for us through trial and error. And eventually, got to know people within the industry, and started learning about how certain things are manufactured or whatever, the whole spiel. And it's cool to kind of see your side of it from the cannabis side, and like your passion there, because it's very similar to ours from the the tobacco harm reduction side.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because like from your perspective, like I was very much there. That's what got me off smoking cigarettes, right? That's what got me there, right? In 2017 broke my heart, because it was like, holy shit, like I can't get what I need anymore. But like I was always very cautious in that realm. Like I had an Aegis mod, I had a couple DNA mods. Like I knew some like higher level stuff. I could go in, hook them up my computer, update firmware, do that kind of stuff. But I never got into like the mech mod thing. Right. My buddy's his mech mod exploded in his pocket. I saw the aftermath of that. Like I was like turned off of mech mods forever, even though like their performance was amazing. And like I know they can be used safely. Like I know that. Same with squonk mods, right? Like there was just something I could never get over that hump, but it was an education thing, and I didn't really know anyone else but myself. And in the online forums, I couldn't really find good educational content to like teach me through this stuff. I mean, hell, the first 3 years I used to get e-cigbarn and Rainham. I had them, dude. Those guys would just rebuild my coils for me. I wouldn't even rebuild my own coils. Like those guys would do it from.
Shout out to Ralph.
Dude, I miss those guys. Ralph, dude, seriously, dude hooked me up. 2017, he called me day it happened, told me when the cops were showing up. He's like, bring cash. He hooked me up with a box of juice, juice bottles, batteries, Nick juice. Like
Ralphie was a good friend of ours, because I used to manage Vapor Image, and so like he was a close homie, and he would come through all the time. He actually he got my buddy Canadian Bacon off the cigarettes.
Dude, it was heartbreaking because like those stores were also where people were learning about dryer vaping.
Yes.
Yeah, because they go hand in hand. It's
Yeah.
harm reduction at the end of the day.
And that whole industry got destroyed overnight with a knee-jerk reaction, you know. And that's also something like in the cannabis space, I think we all need to be really, really cognizant of, is like that reaction happened once. I guarantee you it's going to happen again. Like,
well, I mean, that's where an industry like that is lucky to have people like yourself and myself who, at least in one way or another, had their hands there. We've seen it.
yeah,
I've said it many a time, on the vapor advocacy side, that like we had a lot to learn there from cannabis advocacy and the activism that had to be done there
Big
to start breaking the stigma. But with that being said, we in the cannabis industry have a lot that we can learn from those from the vape industry, as far as running an infantile industry where regulation is shoddy at best and everyone's just kind of making the rules up as they go until we finally iron everything out.
like
Dude, and the technology going hand in hand, you know,
100%. And the industry itself has to kind of come together because, like, realistically, if they want vape carts to be a thing that exists as a permanent staple in this marketplace, they're going to have to straighten up, because one more bad thing happens around a vape cart in this state. It doesn't matter if it's a cig vape cart. It doesn't matter if it's a cannabis vape cart. One more bad thing happens and they're going to be gone for good. I'm honestly surprised the ban got repealed when it did, frankly. I thought that was the end of vape everything in Massachusetts in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, and it even complicates things today, because even like a dispensary, a licensed cannabis dispensary, has a difficult time sourcing certain vape products, things like Puffco products.
It's because of the PACT Act. That's because of the PACT Act.
And
so
exactly, and so
we have the same issue getting our own devices here to the state.
And so it's like it's insane that there's this language barrier between the technology and
so that's going to change though. So that's actually so that impact is actually going to be changing. So the reality of like the device aspect of like why it's so hard to actually bring devices right now into the States, and how in Massachusetts in particular, and why it's been so hard for like the past like 5 years, is because of the PACT Act. Because realistically, almost every single device minus Dynavap is made in China or overseas, and the PACT Act that's what's limiting, is the import of those electronic products into the United States, especially around vapor and tobacco. Now, on the plus side of things, most of the major manufacturers are now creating warehouses within the U.S. And once those warehouses are established in the U.S., the PACT Act thing is not going to be an issue anymore, because all the distribution will be coming from in the United States. So I would say, like, I know Grenco, for example, will have their new warehouse set up probably by end of year. So like Grenco will be able to ship like nationwide within the year, probably by 2023, with product without any issues with the PACT Act. And I know a couple of the other major ones. I think Riser's bringing one in too. So I think we'll start.
That's a great move too, because then you're basically guaranteeing 3 to 4 day shipping.
Oh, exactly. Right. I mean, and like Grenco's got some really like neat stuff. Like they have their Micro Plus pen, which is probably one of the coolest little, like, it's a portable dab pen. So you can, crack it open, put your dab in there, rock it off. But you can also take the dab atomizer out and screw a 510 cart in there, and automatically will recognize the 510 cart. And then it's got 3 different voltage modes for it.
So it's kind of like the Puffco pen there, the
Pro.
The Puffco,
the Pro.
Is that what it's called? The Puffco Pro?
Yeah, it's just their straight pen is just the Puffco Pro.
Yeah. The Vision.
Yeah, that new one, the multicolor one. That's the Vision.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so that one does the 510 as well. So yeah, but like
similar idea.
Yeah. So it'll be cool, and then it'll make it easier for us once we get that new device that I showed you off. And Sean, I'll shoot you some videos this week, or maybe we can get together, because you're not very far from me.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man.
I can't wait to get it in my hands.
I definitely
would be interested to see that, man.
Be into it, because again, innovation in the dry herb space is key. And one of the things that turns a lot of people off too is that the good products oftentimes are large and bulky. Because like the Mighty, even the Crafty, like they're still kind of a big boy for a portable device.
So our new one. So this is a G Pen Dash. right? Super
Yeah.
small, super pocketable. Our new one is only about this much bigger. And it's got a rounded body, so it's got a way better hand feel. And it's got like a sip tip. The mouthpiece is hinged, so you just pop it open, pop your puck in, pop it back down, put a clip on it. We got USB-C charging on it. It also has pass-through charging, so you can use it while you're charging. I did I can't say I developed it, but I worked with Grinko to help develop this device.
Nice.
In terms of feature sets, how I wanted the device to work, even down to the oven type. I helped them like pick out the oven type.
So when's like the release of that going to be? Like now that you're getting so close, it sounds like you might almost be ready to have a release date, or
So I get the prototype in tomorrow. CEO has it right now. I get it tomorrow. Pardon me. We have to make some final adjustments. There's some stuff on the programming we want to make some modifications to, some slight body designs that have to be fixed, but probably make final decision by Wednesday. So we'll send that down. Grenco will get back to tooling. And then if we're lucky, maybe get a run before the end of the year. We're unlucky, probably Q1 of 2023.
okay, that's actually quite close. Like that's good.
Oh yeah, it's not too far back. We really pushed for this thing, and realistically, what's nice about having a partner like Grenco that's already built so many different devices over the years is we were actually able to kind of like build this device utilizing components from other ones that were already developed. And then it really came down to modifying the programming to how we wanted to modify the programming. And yeah, we kind of nailed it. And I'm really looking forward to it. Honestly, when my buddy from Grenco FaceTimed me and was like, "Hey, I got the device. You got to check out how this works." Throws a puck in there and he starts ripping vapor off the first hit. I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like blew my mind, because there's very few dryer vapes that'll rip like clouds off your first hit, especially with that ease of use. So I was just kind of like, crap, we made something special here. Like it honestly, like I don't want to get ahead of myself again. We're still in prototyping phase, we don't have anything released, but I do think it's going to be kind of a game changer realistically. And
it should be.
it's not gonna break your pocket either.
See, and that's another good thing, because like to convert people, one of the things I've noticed is that they're looking for a visual vapor output. I know, like the Dash, I like it for its discretion. It is awesome because it's super low profile, it's discreet. The amount of airflow it provides really reduces the ability for it to produce a sizable amount of vapor. It keeps it super cool.
Exactly. And that's how we market it right now. It's marketed for discretion. The realistic thing is, like with the Dash vaporizes the puck just fine. You're just not going to blow crazy clouds with it, because when you put a single puck in this chamber, you have about a puck's worth of air space that will create that dilution, but that's also what gives you kind of the discretion. But at the same time, it actually helps you get more out of the puck, because what you're inhaling, you're absorbing the majority of it. So when you're not blowing huge clouds when you're vaporizing, you're actually being more efficient. But like everyone, we want that tactile. The people want that tactile feedback, which is why we developed this other device. But the Dash, we market the Dash as, a discrete device, which is why we actually give it away. Like in our stores right now, we run a promotion that any customer who buys like any 3 tins of Huue, doesn't matter, they can mix and match, buy one of each. They get our gift box with the G Pen Dash in it for free. So basically they spend $78, they get an $80 vape for free. 21 infused sessions, with basically that 21 infused sessions comes out to a tack weight of a little less than a quarter. Too.
So it's like a little starter kit, pretty much.
Oh yeah, we do it on. Here, let me grab one. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice, classy looking setup too. Like
Dude, I like
they spared they spared no expense on the.
I like when you can get like a package deal like that, where it's like you have the ability to either get, like you said, mix and match, or have the ability to get like a combo pack of all your different things, as well as the device to use it. You know what I mean? It's just like a one-stop shop. You know what I mean? We actually won awards for our packaging too. Over the summer, our guys down in Connecticut, a group called Digital Surgeons, they did all of like our initial packaging and marketing, and they won an award for it. So basically, this is how it looks like in store. If they want to get our gift box, Nice.
They get one each. G Pen Dash comes in this nice little gift box, all nice and neat. Just a little magnetic flap here. So it's just a nice little like all-in-one box, one-stop shop. But for basically $78, you got everything you need to start trying your dryer vape journey. And if you're not a dryer vape fan, well, it's still weed. You can throw it in your bowl and smoke it. Like,
and the flip of that is that like the Dash works really well with your own existing flower.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to blow clouds off the Dash, yeah, throw loose herb in there. Like, it is a surprisingly potent little device for its size and cost. Realistically, it's a nice 2 to 3 hit vape session.
It does a nice job. I will say I found that the battery life, because it's so small, is obviously it's short. You're only going to get a handful of sessions.
You get about 4 per battery charge on the Dash, whereas our new one though, whole 10 per charge.
Gonna get through a whole 10.
Whole 10 per charge is what we've been testing out at so far. I'm very excited, honestly.
And that's a smart move. I like that. It
wasn't intentional, actually. Like that, it was a hope, because realistically, when it comes to battery power inside of vape, it's really hard to project for that. I mean, you can do the testing and the projections for it.
It's dependent on usage, on output. If you like using it on the higher setting, the lower setting.
There's so many factors. I mean, our goal was we want to make this device as stupid, simple, and easy to use as a cart. That was the end goal. We want to make it so you can have a flower experience with the same ease of use as a cart and the same kind of like format and session experience of being able to be it on the go, very discreet, super easy, right? Where you're not rolling a joint and having to walk down the street blowing a joint.
For real. That's, and again, not that I'm going to condone this sort of behavior, but sometimes people like to go to events. They don't want to drink at said events, but they still want to get a little loose. And a nice discreet vaporizer that you could just kind of stand in the back and gently inhale and catch your vibe without anybody being the wiser is it's a nice feature to have available to you.
Oh yeah. And what's cool about this new one too is we're switching up the body color. It's going to be black. It's got a lanyard loop on it too. So like in the stores, we always make sure the bud tenders are hooked up with vapes and samples of our products whenever we launch a new store, because we want them to actually know about the product. Obviously, we want them to try it, and experience, because we don't sell the product just as a dryer product. We sell it as a very convenient, pre-packed bowl smokable or a dryer vape product. The bud tenders can use it how they want, and then they can talk about their experience with it how they want. Because I will tell you this, whether they vaped it or smoked it, I've never had anyone tell me they didn't like it. I mean, that's the nice part, especially like those people that love to smoke, especially in a bowl. They really enjoy the pucks, because here, I'll show you this one too, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually remember when you guys launched with us early on. One of our managers,
the original format.
One of our managers was like, I wasn't feeling the vape, but he's like, I threw it in my bong. He's like, and that sucker ripped.
Oh yeah, so this is smoking. This is sped up, obviously. Just one puck. A 0.15. Just chiefing away.
Damn, dude.
Open that thing up too. You can see it.
Yeah, I mean, can't say it with any kind of, declaration, but I would say it's probably the most efficient combustible on the market, realistically. It's a 0.15 that you can pull 10 hits out of. Weight to weight, I've not seen that anywhere else.
0.15 is probably a bong hit,
if that.
Yeah.
But realistically, if you're talking about like smoking bowls or smoking traditionally, I mean, the most efficient way to smoke is to only load your bowl or your bong for exactly one hit, clear it in one shot every time, and then reload your bowl. But that's kind of the crazy part, right? Like, consumption has become almost like the amount you can consume or quantity you consume and how crazy you can consume it has become like the whole profile of cannabis culture almost, right? In terms of like what's popular.
Like, what effects are you getting out of it? It's just how high can you get,
right?
Well, I mean, there's some truth to that, but I've also encountered a lot of people who like the high THC, for example, is because they still want the I only need 2 hits experience.
True. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, and someone like myself who is really more about efficiency, especially like during the weekday, I don't have a ton of time to like sit down and have a nice relaxing session, right? Like I like the efficiency. So yeah, like having the pucks plus my Dynavap and be able to just rip 35% right then and there in like 2 to 3 hits, like boom, yeah, it's great, right? But I also like being able to sit down at the end of the day because my normal like medication sessions is about 3 bowls where I can put a puck in my Dyna, heat cycle it, rip it through my bong, chill for a couple of minutes, watch some TikToks, answer some emails, go back, hit it again. You know, that's the thing, right? Is like your usage always changes, right?
Yeah, it's depending on the situation for sure.
Yeah. So I much
agree.
prefer sunny weather, sitting on my deck in the sunshine, just chilling with some good music and our audiobook and just relaxing, just ripping. It's always great.
Yeah, man. And that is one of those blessings too, is something like you know, a Huue puck. Because you can take, you know, your Dynavap, maybe a little torch lighter and your tin of Huue, and you can go hiking and find a little spot on the side of the trail, kick it, pop a puck.
Dude, they're so great hiking because you don't have to bring anything else with you, right? Like even bringing a snap stash, I still have loose herb. There's still a risk I'm going to dump loose herb all over the ground. If I drop my Huue tin, yeah, if I have one open already, like yeah, I might pop out one, but I'm never going to lose anything else in there. Like it's honestly the perfect on the go buddy because we're not trying to replace everyone's flower. Like we're just trying to give you an option for a super convenient experience.
Yeah. Which is good, right? Because it's one of those things. It's like everything else that's a consumable. It's there has to be, you know, different strokes for different folks. Like there has to be, right? And if you're gonna be, you know, providing a certain mark in that, then you're damn right it's needed. You know what I mean? Because it's true. If it's very portable, that's perfect.
Yeah, and our goal is to bring dry herb vaping back to the market as a popular consumption method. I mean, there was a push a few years ago with a different brand, Omura, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with in some respect. You guys know about Omura by any chance?
No, I don't actually. No.
Do you guys know what the Philip Eiclos is? Since you guys know the nicotine tobacco industry pretty well.
Yeah, I know the Philip Morris. The Icos, yeah.
The Icos, yeah. So you know the Icos uses those pre-filled sticks, those cardboard tubes. So the Omura, which is basically a rebranded Icos with cardboard tubes filled with weed, sold as a dry herb vape product. Problem is, thermodynamics are pretty damn strict laws in our physical reality, and cardboard is not a great heat conductor. So essentially, all that device did was slow toast the weed. And by the time it was ready to produce any kind of vapor, you're pulling popcorn hits. But it was a brand out of California, kind of very early here in Massachusetts in our adult use market. They ended up on a lot of shelves and they didn't move. So there's a big stigma against dry herb vaping in Mass.
Yeah. I mean,
isn't it crazy that just like one poorly executed product can actually like ruin something or put something back so hard?
100%.
It's crazy.
Dude, if you're a cultivator here in Massachusetts and you get a recall on your product, you might as well close shop.
Might as well rebrand.
Yeah, because it'll kill you.
We know brands who do it. Like they get a bad name and they end up buying other brands and then rebranding and burying their true name in order to disappear within the market. And I mean, I've seen some clever jobs doing that. I really have.
Some brands have pulled it off very well, but like, yeah.
And to be fair, some of them have done a good job reinventing themselves through that.
I know two that turned themselves around pretty well, to the point where I would purchase some of their products again. But yeah, Omura had again, not to shit on Omura, but like they had a very large negative impact on the mass adult use market to where like I have been straight up told by like inventory folks that like we have no demand for dry herb vaping. We tried it once with this product and we'll never carry this again, anything like that again. Like, and I'm not saying that's every store, but like, yeah, it definitely created a stigma around dry herb vaping where people are very hesitant to want to give it a shot. You know,
my experience is that's also just in general though in the cannabis community. I find it is a very small niche. And it's to me, I think one of the interesting things about Huue is that it's a product that not only is marketed specifically for a small niche of people, but has a vision on how to promote it to expand the niche.
Oh yeah, and believe me, we have expansion ideas beyond belief, because at the end of the day, like, one of the big things about Huue is the ability to select how you want to feel and just get there without having to worry about a billion different strain names. Because like we talked earlier, right? We were talking about different, like, the indicas and everything's a hybrid, right? There's a bajillion names out there. Your average consumer could give two shits. They don't care about your Afghani Kush Chem Dog ×2, whatever anymore. They don't care. Like, the whole crazy naming thing, that's for a very specific market that is frankly becoming the minority in regards to cannabis users. Your typical stoner is not your average consumer anymore inside of a dispensary.
It's true.
So people want simplicity, so that's why we made it. Get shit done, raffle, unwind. Very easy to understand how the hell you're going to feel. If you're real curious about what the hell's in the flower, that's why we put a very nice tag on there with all the information, with the cultivator, data pick, everything done, but we wanted to make it stupid simple for people just to pick up and go. But the thing is,
QR code too is another thing I appreciate.
Oh yeah, we throw QRs on everything. So we got the QRs in the back, takes you right to the website, brings you right to the strain that's going to tell you how you want to feel. Because while strain specific effects, anecdotally we can say sativas usually give you a little more energy. Hybrids will normally give you a pretty elevated mood with some like social anxiety reduction, things of that nature. Indicas will traditionally give you more relaxation. We do actually thoroughly test all of the strains, like different formats. I go through every single strain personally. I smoke it, I vape it, I eat the AVB, I take meticulous notes on it. This journal right here is just weed notes and ASMR video ideas. That's all this is. That's all it is. Because I take it very seriously. Because if we're gonna go out there and we're gonna tell you like, hey, when you pick this up, you're gonna feel super energized. I want to get shit done. I want to make sure that that's how you're gonna feel. And 100%. We stand behind their product. My name's attached to this product, so we're there for it.
so now I'm going to segue like this. Have you ever put the ASMR idea in there to do a Huue Puck vaping ASMR?
Yeah, I have some video content that I have filmed for it. I have thrown some video ideas around for it. It's a very tough thing. As a content creator, I don't mix my content and my professional life together realistically. While I do use my creator content, like my creator channel on Instagram, to also talk about Huue, putting cannabis content onto my ASMR channel runs a very large risk of having my channel canceled.
This is true.
Very quickly. And while my channel is not monstrously huge, I have put a hell of a lot of time and effort into it. And if it was to get canceled, I don't know if I'd have the ability to restart and rework all that again.
Trust me, dude, that's the whole reason why this podcast exists, because we do a vape show on my YouTube channel that I've worked for almost 5 years on.
Yeah.
And the whole cannabis, gray area on YouTube, we're like, you know what, instead of doing these sorts of topics so much here on this show, let's just do a podcast where it's like we don't have to worry about so many restrictions and we could talk about it there. And it's like a different forum where our following from there can still come over here and check this out, but we don't have to run the risk of this channel getting taken down for it.
Exactly. Like my ASMR channel is mostly like medical videos, because that's just what happened to take off on my channel in terms of content. That's what people, that's what drove the views. So that's where I kind of like kept in on it. And I filmed an hour and 20-minute long ASMR, like cannabis doctor video, super educational. Never talked about pricing or anything like that. Never mentioned a brand name in there. And I just can't bring myself to freaking upload the damn thing, because while it's listed as educational, I have it set to no monetization, no advertising, nothing. I think it'll just get slammed right off the bat and my channel will just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid concern, and I don't blame you for that. I
thought about making a second one. I have considered just making a second educational only video like one. But on the flip side, if I'm going to do it, I might as well just start a Fansly, charge people $1 a month. You want to see the cannabis ASMR content, come over to Fansly, pay me $1 a month.
I mean, hey, listen, I am never going to knock a side hustle, and that might be a brilliant move.
It might be where I bring the ASMR content, because I have probably about 10 videos right now that's all ASMR cannabis. Some of it's just like, hey, relax and have a session with me, and I teach you how to roll a joint. And or one's like, hey, let's do a dab session, let's do a vape session. One's like, hey, let's do a vape session and just chat about vaporizers, kind of stuff, like just really low key, just like super relaxing ASMR videos. But it's all cannabis content. It's like, I know it would drive views, but at the same time, I'm like, the algorithm would look at that on my channel and go, either this channel's been hacked, or like, no, we're not doing this anymore. They've gotten really strict lately, especially in the ASMR category. In the last month and a half, we've seen probably like 100+ channels get deleted out of nowhere for innocuous crap, like not even breaking TOS. So yeah, it's a risk.
Yeah, we trust me, we understand that, because as content creators who've used YouTube for years, we've seen our communities all have these seemingly ridiculous, out of nowhere ban hammers start sweeping channels.
Yeah.
And the ASMR community, it seems so bizarre, because I mean, one of the things that I'm finding that immediately I was ignorant to is that you're talking about an educational perspective and I kind of always just had this assumption that ASMR videos were just like these people who are just doing like small things to make sounds. Yeah.
So it's a huge category with a bajillion subcategories, and it's an extremely subjective experience. Realistically, at the end of the day, ASMR just stands for autonomous sensory meridian response. You ever hear a song and get goosebumps?
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
That is ASMR. That's an ASMR response. That's all it is. ASMR got started. Think, if you want to talk OG ASMR, Bob Ross.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
You sit there. Everyone likes to get high and watch Bob Ross, right? Because he's super chill, he's super relaxing. He's just teaching how to paint happy little clouds and a happy little tree. And he says it in a nice, relaxing voice, and all of a sudden you'll just drift off to sleep. It's one of those things. It's about giving someone a sense of comfort and a sense of feeling safe, and like I said, my channel focuses a lot on medical ASMR. Why is that such a popular category? Because for most people, the only person that you're going to meet realistically in your life that has your best intentions at heart and is there to help you out is a doctor. You could have as much medical trauma in your past. I've gone through so many shitty doctor appointments in the past, but medical ASMR videos might be just the thing, because while it's all fantasy and it's all made up, in that moment, the person watching that video has a safe sense of a sense of a safe space, and they feel cared for. And that's just something some people need. Now, then there's a big physiological aspect to it, where certain sounds, whether that's it could be something like scratching a microphone, or, hearing something move across a desk, certain sounds can trigger those responses, just like certain kind of music. Lo-fi beats, very popular in ASMR world, putting like very lo-fi ambient binaural beats in the background. I mean, that has a very subconscious, heavy effect on helping you drift off to sleep. So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff, and there's people way more educated about some of the scientifics of it. But realistically, it's just a way to help chill out and like fall asleep in a very comfortable way. I mean, and there's a lot of different categories to it. I mean, there's ambient ASMR, there's just ASMR that's just pure, no talking. There's a lot of like role play focused ASMR, which is like doctor stuff, which is more what I do. Same with like the cannabis content. You're playing, it's just acting. You're playing a character and, just creating a scene and a scenario, for a specific thing. There's people that do no face ASMR, so you never see their face. Mostly it's a lot of like hands. There's one creator, her name's ASMR Bakery. All she does is make sounds, and the only thing you see on screen is her hands making those sounds. That's it. She's got like 1 million subs, but she makes amazing, awesome background ASMR. For me, that's not ASMR I would like sit there and watch to try to fall asleep, but that's ASMR I'll put on my headphones while I'm doing work, because it's a nice chill ambient noise and it cuts out the background. But it's just one of those things. I do it personally because I was bored as shit during COVID. I needed a creative outlet, and I'd been watching it for probably 10 years because I don't sleep. And I was like, you know what? Let me do give a shot at it. You know, frankly, it's fun. It's a hobby. It's something I do for fun
Hey,
when I
man.
have time.
Dude, if it's something you vibe with and you find passion in it, bro, fucking do what you fucking gotta do. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I've like come to, find in life,
That's
Just
my
fucking
thing.
go find your passions, man, and do them, man, because life's short. Finding things that make you happy and just fucking enjoy them.
Exactly. That's my thing. Is like I spent 10 years in a scientific sales role here in New England, working with biotechs, pharmaceutical companies, which meant my cannabis use was on the down low all the time. And for a lot of people, and I don't think people realize this, but when you work a job that provides you a certain, not necessarily a level of lifestyle, but provides you a living, right? And you also have to medicate a certain way in order to be a functional human, because that's what works for you. But at any point in time, everything can be ripped out from under you because of that. That puts a level of stress on you that like it eats at you over time.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that will eat away your soul. And when you work in the scientific field, especially on the sales side of things, your whole goal is just to make money for other people. That's it. I mean, you're getting money in your pocket through commissions, but your whole goal is just to make some other dude millions and millions of dollars. And frankly, with how messed up our medical system here is in the US, I was just kind of like, I got so tired of the bullshit. And I was just like, I got to do something to give back. I was like, I don't have a lot of power personally, but hey, maybe I can do something to help somebody else feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
which is
dude.
really, I mean, what I started my channel for. And like, I never started it with the intent like I was going to become a full-time content creator or it's going to blow up. I got like 24,000 subscribers in like 2.5 years.
Wow,
But
dude, that's solid, pretty good though. Holy shit!
That's about like maybe I might be a little bit behind you on that, but that's kind of like what my drive was, bro.
But they're a good like solid sub base. Like I haven't uploaded in 3 months because I've been so busy with work, and ASMR content takes a very specific mindset to get in. And if you're stressed, it is hard as shit to make that kind of content.
Because I could see how it's very niche, you know what I mean? Because there's going to be a lot of different people that are into very different things, and not everything's going to be as popular as the next.
GB, one of the most popular ASMRists, she did a collab video where they literally recreated the entire B movie in an ASMR style. Wow. I mean, the entire B movie, word for word, scene for scene, completely recreated in an ASMR style. I mean, there's nothing the ASMR creators will not take and run with. I mean, it's
nuts.
It's probably one of the most creative spots on the internet that people just do not pay enough attention to.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's crazy because like when I like think ASMR, I think of very specific things. And it's not necessarily like a lot of the things that you've described so far. Like I always think of like the dude opening like a crazy crinkly package, or like a girl just like making crazy clicking and smacking noises with their mouth. That honestly, that drives me fucking insane.
Mouth sounds? I'm not a mouth sound guy. I'm not a mouth sound guy.
That makes my fucking skin crawl, dude.
Me too. They're not for me, but there's a huge.
But yeah, there's so many people that are into that, because I could see there's a lot of really big, ASMR channels where that's a lot of what their content is.
But you can go like, so one of my favorites, his name's ASMR Zeitgeist. Guy's awesome. His name's Michael. He lives in Germany. Big vaporizer guy himself, actually. Big volcano fan. He doesn't really like go a lot of face on camera. He does on occasion, but mostly his is all sound work. He's all sound work. You go to ASMR Atlas though, who he's actually a professional photographer who started his channel during COVID as well. He is highly cinematic. Like I'm talking movie quality ASMR. This dude, his filming ability is just absolutely off the freaking chain insane. Like some of the highest quality content you're gonna see on YouTube in general. Then you have Cottage ASMR. She creates some of the most fantastical cottagecore ASMR that you'll ever see in your life. You have Amy K ASMR, who creates some of the best fantasy stuff you'll ever see. She is criminally underrated too.
Okay, when you're saying, I'm sorry to like cut you off, but like when you're saying like the best fantasy, like, are they storytelling?
Yeah, like Amy
is
creates.
That what it is?
Yeah, she creates characters. She's got like a series where she's like you're a prince and she takes care of you, and she's created a whole freaking.
Will she do like multiple voices and stuff?
Oh yeah, she'll do tons of accents. I mean, I throw accents into my videos all the time. I got a Romanian vampire that fixes you up for one of the Halloween videos I did. I did a Freddy Krueger video that I'm just insanely proud of that got
And it's
0
mainly-
views.
And then like for that, it's mainly kind of just based on like the tone in which you're speaking and how it's being picked up through the microphone for like
Well,
the
remember-
listener, right?
Yeah, but ASMR is also about the response. It's about eliciting that tingle, that physical response.
Yeah.
ASMR can also come through fear. I am a huge horror ASMR guy.
Okay.
I have horror ASMR videos on my channel that
Yeah,
people like,
that's
will
another
watch
one.
religiously.
I'm not into that.
My
You know what I
Freddy
mean?
Krueger video, like you should see some of the DMs I've gotten about the Freddy Krueger video. There's some sick people on the internet. Holy crap. But I mean, like, but
Dude,
I mean,
I
it's
could
like,
imagine there's some sick shit out there on the internet.
but for me, like I'm very much I use it as a creative outlet, and it's
Yeah,
like
dude.
my way of just like giving back. But like for me, I haven't uploaded in 3 months, but I'll tell you what, like I'm ready to go like anytime.
Yeah, dude.
See,
Like-
that's so cool too, because I'm starting to recognize that like there are other communities that have their own little subset of like an ASMR creator space as well. Because like
Tons.
I'm very much into the fish tanks, and like
Oh,
there's-
fish ASMR is huge,
and
dude.
yeah, like I'm thinking about like
Monstrous.
one of my favorite channels, Green Aqua. They have a whole subset of videos they do that they just call them relaxing aquascape or something like that, but it's totally an ASMR video. It's just
Name
quiet,
your fish,
relaxed,
throw a
like-
camera on it, throw it up on a live stream. You'll have fucking viewers all day.
Dude, there's like for a while
not
I was
kidding.
into like watching like model videos of like dudes like
That's
building models
ASMR?
and stuff, and then all of a sudden ASMR versions of those videos were popping up to where like when they're like clipping, you can hear every clip that they're
I've done-
clipping out of the things, or like every like cut they made to like score
Yeah.
off the edges, and the spraying of the airbrush and the clicking of everything going together, and that was really satisfying to me. But like there's a lot of other aspects of
Yep.
So my
listening that
YouTube
I'm
is
not.
medical focused because you got to play the algorithm, right? So like
Yeah.
for me, my pattern is it's medical video, fantasy video, medical video. That's how I usually have to run the algorithm, because I get 2, gives you some juice for the month. Third one, it brings the people back. You're probably not gonna have as great as views, but it puts your other content out there, and then you go back to the stuff that brings your views, right? But at the same time, I don't do it anymore. But I used to stream on Twitch. I had about 7,000 followers on Twitch, and I used to stream on Twitch. But my thing on Twitch was opening Pokemon cards, but doing it ASMR style, because during COVID, there was all that card opening hype on Twitch. People's hyping up every time you pull a Charizard, right? Some people just like to look at shiny cardboard without all the screaming in their ears. So I'd get on, stream for 3 hours, and we'd just crack packs all night and have a good time. And people loved it.
I get to see
Dude.
people loving that though.
Yeah.
I genuinely can.
Unfortunately, life got really busy, and streaming is extremely taxing on you after a while. When you work all day, especially when you drive all day, and then you come home, pop on the stream for 3 hours from like 8 to 11,
Yeah,
Can
like
I
that day
relate?
is completely gone.
yeah, and you're
It's
doing
not
that
yours.
Yeah, you're doing that 3-4 times a week. Like it can, and then on top of that, you're making content on top of working a full-time job and keeping up 3 different socials for all of this stuff at the same time, like running schedules to make sure like you're dropping your links every time you're going live and every time you drop a new video. It's like, it's full-time work, and I swear to God, content creators do not get enough acknowledgement for that stuff, frankly. Oh, my headphones are about to die. Hold on, I gotta swap headphones.
No worries.
Oh man, he's 100% right though, because like I think about all the work that like Nick Green has to go through.
No.
Because like he's a full-time content creator, and to make
There
that a
we go.
full-time job, like that man has to do a lot of work to keep all those socials active, to keep all that content fresh, and
It's-
continuing to show up and navigating the ever-changing landscape of
Socials are the
YouTube.
worst, man.
Like,
That's the
Well,
hardest part.
there is a lot of work involved, and you have to be very consistent, and like there's like timing for it and everything. Like any of these things, even like doing, when you drop your videos and all that stuff, like
Oh,
those things all make a difference.
took me 4 months of dropping videos at different times, different days of the week to figure out where my audience was, because Google Analytics only takes you so far, right? And then on top of that, you got to figure out how to do SEO properly. And in the ASMR community, SEO becomes one of the most insane things, because it's all about keywords, and the damn keywords change on a daily basis. I mean, I was paying, I think $40 a month or $50 a month for an additional service just to scrape data to tell me when I should upload. And like keyword, I could like plug my I had a plug into YouTube, so I could like when I was uploading a video and I plug in my title, it would give me better title suggestions to drive more traffic. But the reality is like if you want to put content on the internet and you want that content to be seen, you have to put in a lot of work.
You have to grind. You have to grind for sure. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
I don't think you can ever even really stop grinding. Like you'd have to really hit it pretty high numbers in order to just continually put out the effort and not have to grind as hard on every social.
absolutely. I mean, and like I haven't uploaded in 3 months just because work's been very busy and stressful, and time has not really allotted me a lot of time to sit down and film. Because frankly, when I make an ASMR video, minimum I'm aiming for 20-25 minutes. So between setup, depending how complex the set is, I got to build camera setup, lighting setup, actual editing, and then you got to go into or actually filming. So if a 25-minute video might take me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, if I hit it in one take, awesome. Like that's always great because that's usually what you're aiming for as an ASMR, is to have it as fluid as possible, aiming at as little, as few cuts as possible. But then once that's all said and done, you got to go into the editing process, which means audio editing. And that's because that's the most important part of ASMR is the audio. It's not the visuals. Like, contrast the majority of content on YouTube, your audio is way more important. So you're took on audio balance, you're cutting different parts of your audio apart, raising levels all over the place. So a 25-minute video could be 3, 4, 6 hours of editing. I throw green screen on that or VFX effects on top of that. I mean, you're talking a long time.
And then there's rendering time.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, and yeah, now that's even gotten worse because Adobe has pushed all their prioritization to your GPU. If you're not paying for DaVinci, like if you're not paying $500 for DaVinci, you're running off free. You ain't getting the output power. So, I mean, I'm running Premiere Pro from like 4 versions back at this point because it's the one that runs smoothest on my PC because I'm still running a 2060.
Yeah, I'm a Vegas man, so like I have 13 on my home computer. So like I actually edit our podcast on Vegas 13, and so
nice.
even the audio gets taken from the video out of Vegas 13. But my work computer, I have was it Vegas 19, the latest Vegas, and on the work laptop, that's a solid state hard drive. So like night and day difference in rendering.
Yeah, I have absolutely. 15 on my computer, Vegas 15, and that's what I do all my editing through.
But
my rendering time's not too bad.
My audio though also doesn't get recorded through my camera, so my audio runs through a mixer.
Yeah, mine does too.
Because I run that through a different capture program. Because like the mic I'm talking to you on right now this is a Rode NT1A. But I use Sennheiser MK44s for ASMR. So those all have to run through my mixer that's set to very specific levels.
Yeah, just so it could pick up that.
Yeah, because you got to have just the right amount of gain.
Well, those mics too are hella sensitive. I mean, they have a -1 internal noise decibel level on them. I mean, they pick up everything. There is a guy, he works night shift. He starts his diesel truck. He lives on the other side of my neighborhood. He starts at 10:15 every night to get that thing warmed up. He's banging out of the neighborhood, peeling out at 10:30. If I'm filming, I know I have to stop every time. He's going to fire up, even though he lives 20 houses away from me, because those mics will pick it up. Window closed, through the walls, everything. Like
if you can hear it in the room, you're going to hear it on the mic.
Oh, my wife, when I used to stream, it used to drive my wife's crazy because these Rodes will they're very sensitive too. And I could hear, these will pick up her closing a cabinet like downstairs. And like I can just hear everything through them. They're great though. I mean, they're wonderful microphones. Content creation's fun. That's what I like. It's just fun.
That's why we love this podcast, man, because we get to just hang out with cool people, have really cool conversations, talk about all sorts of wild and crazy shit, and have a good time doing it.
Now I got to make more weed content.
Well, we're going to have to start wrapping this content up because we are hitting that mark now. So first things first, of course, I want to thank you, Mike, for coming and joining us. We had a real great time. We full disclosure, we're going to be cutting this into 2-part episodes. So by this point, the listeners are hearing part 2. So Surprise. But yeah, guys, this is the opportunity, Mike. I want you to plug all the socials for Huue, for yourself, everything.
Awesome.
I want you to be able to plug it all. So tell them where to find you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. As I said, yeah, we're Huue. We're a brand new brand here in Massachusetts right now. You can find us over at the Heirloom Collective, Resonate in Worcester, Northampton, Temescal out in Pittsfield, up at Lazy River and Drake. It will be at Somerville and the Goods when they open next month. And we're looking for more stores. You can check us out at Get Huue on IG and on Twitter. That we're more active on IG, www.gethuue.co. And if you're interested in my ASMR, you can check me out on YouTube at Completely Casual ASMR, or on IG, you can find me at Huue Man Mike.
Nice.
And thank you guys. Appreciate you guys all.
Absolutely,
Honestly,
man. It was a pleasure, dude. It was a good time. Great conversation. I learned a little bit of some stuff, as well as like just got to vibe out, dude, which I'm always down for.
Anytime, guys. I'm more than happy. This was great.
Now you guys got to see who the homie Mike really is. So
hell yeah, dude.
Uncle Chris, why don't you go ahead and do your closeout?
All right. Well, yeah, like I'll just echo that. Like, Mike, thanks, man. Appreciate you. I loved hearing part of your stories, as well as like your journey and like how you got to where you're at right now. And I love kind of how we finished up on ASMR, because honestly, like I didn't even know. I was like, James, the only thing I thought about ASMR was like the like mouth noises and like fucking whatever, like just random stuff that I was like, that's that's a bit too far for me. But the stuff that you do seems more interesting. And
there's a ton out there.
Yeah, dude, it's like opened me up into the idea of that might be something I would try, like if I'm just like doing some work and I got my headphones in, see what it's about. And
some old Bob Ross clips, man. That's where I tell everyone to start.
Start there,
old
bro.
School. Dude, Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers.
Happy little accidents, man.
Dude, I just might do that.
I'm telling you, Bob Ross and a good joint or a good bowl.
I'm just going to tell everybody right now, if you have a Samsung phone and a Samsung account, you have access to Samsung TV, and Samsung TV has a Bob Ross channel, all Bob Ross all the time. You're welcome.
And there's also one on Twitch running all the time as well.
So that's perfect. Sick. So everybody out there, you can experience this for the first time along with me. Maybe we'll report back. So thank you everybody for listening. Do appreciate you guys. On like about myself, like obviously you guys can check me out on Tuesday nights. I'm mixing it up on KVTV's YouTube channel, 8:00. You can check me and the boys out on Fringe Declan Vapors YouTube channel at 8:00 on Fridays for the Green Room. And I think that I just like want everybody to be safe these days. Like we're starting to get closer into the holiday season. So everybody just like be safe. Try your best to be as responsible as possible. And I just want my last thing to say is like, boys, first of all, I want to say like I'm pretty high right now.
Join the club, dude.
This has been like a bit of not a grind. Like a grind is not the right word, but like this has been a journey. And I'm pretty high.
Hey, a grind would have been pretty punny though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? A little grind.
It was a good sesh.
Yeah, for sure.
So now I'm just gonna say live your best life.
Yeah, dude.
James, take it away.
Once again, Mike, pleasure having you, bro. It was a great conversation, man. We'll definitely probably have to have you on again, dude, and hear maybe more about the prototype whenever that, is more of a thing, dude. Well, whenever it like hits the market and people can get a hand on it and check it out, we might have to get you back so we could talk about it more, because I'm definitely interested to hear more about it myself.
And I'm sure there's a few listeners too,
dude. That'd be sick.
I'll get you one. Don't worry about that.
But with that being said, guys, go check him out everywhere. He said, go check out the links. Go check out his ASMR if you guys are interested in that. Honestly, like Chris said, I'm honestly more open to kind of checking some more stuff out and, seeing what else is out there in that realm. Because there's a lot of times where I'm sitting here doing stuff on my computer, and who knows? It's just nice. I put videos on the background all the time, and it's usually just some bullshit. So why not see what else is out there that might, tickle my fancy or get the little goosebumps going? You know what I mean? But with that, like Chris also said, check us out Friday nights on my YouTube channel for the Green Room. If you guys want to see us do some build-offs, Shedhead sessions where you guys have an opportunity to come hang out in the show, play some games, just have some good times. And also, I do reviews sometimes. I promise. They do come up every now and then. I know I've been slacking, but I've just kind of been taking some time just to kind of, work on myself and, just relax a little bit. But hopefully I'm going to start cranking some more out for you guys soon. Other than that, we're still going to be here in the shed having good sessions, just like this one here. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, I'm going to end it as I always do, sending out positive vibes, crisp high fives, and remember, a little dabble do ya. And you know what? One more thing. Don't forget to just tell somebody you love them. You know what I mean? Just take the time just to do it, man, because you never know when you won't get that chance. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. So I just want to put that out there in the ether. Over to you, Sean.
Yeah, man. I like that. And man, I just want to say I love all of you. All of you guys here on this panel.
Right back at you, my dude.
Buddy.
I love all of you guys out there listening. And of course, I love all the patrons because you guys support the shit out of us. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. So, like, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys for that. With all of that, man, you guys know how to find us. It's on every major streaming platform that you find your podcast. So just go ahead and find it. And guys, you know what I'm going to say, because I say it every show. Don't let the bastards get you down. Be cool. Don't be a dick. And whatever it is that you do, be sure to have some fun, because it's the Shedtime podcast, and we're going to roll on up and roll on out.
Dynavap. Looking to cut the cord on your dry herb vape? Dynavap. Trying to get the best taste from your herb? Dynavap. Ready to take your sesh to the next level? Then meet Dynavap, the best way to vape your flower or concentrate. Concentrates? That's right, your flower or hash can be vaped using Dynavap. Check out Dynavap.com to learn more. That's Dynavap.com. Lose the ash? Dynavap.
What's going on, Shedheads? It's your boy Frames Janklin. Are you looking to step up your match game or have a raw copper, brass, or stainless mod or RDA that you're absolutely tired of polishing? Then you need to go and hit up my man Ashton at Palmer's Powders. He does some absolutely amazing powder coating work. He offers many different colors and finishes at an absolutely killer price. This man is taking powder coating to a whole new level, and he can make your setup an absolute masterpiece. You can go follow him over on Instagram at Palmer's Powders, and you can go check out pricing on his website, palmerspowders.com. That's palmerspowders.com. And as always, let's just vape on, Shedheads.
I want you to think of your favorite rebuildable right now. Yeah, okay, so you have a layer cake in your hand, and now you're about... Oh, sorry, yeah, that's not everyone's favorite. That's just mine. So think of your favorite rebuildable atomizer. Think about how good of a vape it produces for you. Now, take that and amplify it. And the way that you amplify that is you put in some Breezestone coils. Breezestone coils are handcrafted in Adelaide, Australia. They're made from some of the finest quality wire that you can get. I believe it's wire Buddha. You take those coils, you take them out of that phenomenal packaging that clearly shows how much care that Adam puts on the quality of his coils and the insurance that you get them in good shape. You put them in that favorite RDA, and guess what? You have coils that now sing better than Celine Dion. Go check out Breezestone coils. You can find them on localvape.com and also steelvalleyvapors.com. Solid.
Peace.
Now that was a nice XXXXXL.
That was fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That was
dude.
a good time,
No,
guys.
dude, appreciate you. Thank you.